you just look at that smile? His name is Johnny. He goes to a school about 10 minutes from here, and I met him last spring when I was in his school with the Bridget Books Foundation to do a distribution of books for summer reading. I was in his classroom, watching the kids mill around, picking out their books, and I noticed him. That smile, proudly clutching his books. I stopped, I asked him, "Are you excited?" He said to me, "Now I own 6 books." Have you ever stopped to consider what your life today would look like if you had grown up without books? I'm going to assume for most of us, our lives today would be radically different if we hadn't grown up surrounded with books. We never stop to consider the issue of access to books because we take it for granted. As kids, we grew up surrounded by books in our homes, our schools, and our communities. As adults, we can surround ourselves and our kids with books. So therefore, we assume it must be that way for all kids. As Johnny's story illustrates, it's not. Now, 12 years ago, I was getting ready to give birth to my daughter. I knew I was going to be lucky enough to be able to stay home, but I also knew I wanted something to do in between the diapers, the feedings, and the play dates. So I decided to start a nonprofit, the Bridget Books Foundation. It was the perfect fusion for me. Collect books, get them to kids who need them, pursue my own secret obsession with books, and teach my kids about charity. I set the foundation up, and away we went. Our first donation, 315 books. By the end of our first year, we'd given away 8,000 books. Last year, we gave away nearly 75,000 books. In the last 2 weeks, we've given away 9,000 books. Now, even after 12 years of giving away books, I'm still surprised by several things. One, how utterly and amazingly grateful the children are when they get to pick out books that they can take home and keep, that they're excited about, to call their own. And even more importantly, how many children today are still book poor? And by that I mean, these are children who have no real access to books in their homes, their schools, or their communities. Now, do you remember Johnny's smile? We've seen that smile on thousands of children over the years who've received books from us. It's a smile of delight and pride. The delight that comes with picking out books that you're excited about, that you can take home and read over and over, and the pride that comes with ownership, at being able to write your name in your book. Children who do not have meaningful access to books will have a very difficult time in transitioning from learning to read to reading to learn. And failure to make that transition creates an even bigger barrier for these kids. One, to getting a good education, something that we all know and recognize as being one of the keys to overcoming the cycle of poverty. It's time for us to stop assuming that children across all income levels have equal access to books. They don't. We don't assume that children in poverty have enough food. We don't assume that children in poverty have enough clothes. We regularly do food drives and clothing drives to ensure that they have enough to get through their days. Here's a crazy idea. How about we add books into the mix? Give them something so that they can actually benefit from their school days. They can thrive in their lives and prosper. Now, I'd like to give you an update on Johnny's story. Since last June, we've been back to his school twice. So I can tell you that he has at least 10 books in his home. Is that better? Absolutely. Should we be doing more? Most definitely. The more books that children have in their home, the better their chances of success. I invite you individually, in your homes, in your schools, in your communities, as corporations, to join us in reaching our next goal of 1 million books. After that, Who knows? It's an open book. Bottom line is, books have the power to change lives, and all children should have books to call their own. Thank you.